World of Warcraft lore, the Titan imposters. This looks like some kind of theory stating that the Titans are not who we think they are. Now, we know they're not the all-righteous that we used to believe the Titans were, and they're, in fact, you know, very much motivated by things like order and other things. So, what is this? The Titan imposters? Let's see what the Cozy Campfire has to say. It's Cozy Campfire. I don't know why I said Cozy. Zolshi, I built it.
Today, I want to cover a little bit of a wild theory.
Wallpaper engine.
Mostly because it has been swimming around my head for a while, and I need to let it out. What if I told you that there are imposters among the Titans?
Oh, imposters.
That perhaps Azeroth is a Titan after all. But what we think we know about Titans may just be wrong.
Interesting, because we just talked about Chronicle 4 and how it basically it no longer refers to the world souls as Titans, but in fact, they are referred to as world souls that can become Titans. So, I wonder if this theory
Before
will
we
still
truly
hold true.
begin, I would like to clarify the elephant in the room. That is, of course, the Chronicles books. I know that it gets thrown around a lot that they were told from the perspective of the Pantheon and should be taken with a grain of salt. That is, of course, true. However, it does not mean we should dismiss everything. We should assume most of this is correct with omission or obfuscation.
Correct or slightly skewed, but I don't think, you should not think that everything is a lie because it came from the perspective of the Titans.
This theory stays within those boundaries. At least I hope. So first of all, what is a Titan? The Chronicles describe them as a race of colossal, planet-sized beings composed of primordial matter and arcane energy from which the very universe was born. This does seem like an apt description, however. Let's grain of salt this a little. We have since learned the universe, or the great framework, is made up of much more than just arcane energy.
Right.
Since we know the Pantheon is far more concerned with arcane or order, then let us assume that the Titans are composed of a multitude of primordial energies, that they are in fact a sum of the great framework's design. Now, of course, the Pantheon of Order has become synonymous with the word Titan.
Right. By the way, this we just saw, this has been changed in Chronicle 4. This now says the first ones. So,
but what if only some
whether or
of
not
them
that's
were?
relevant or not, we'll see.
Amanthul was said to be the first to awaken, and as being the first, we have to take his word on it. They just suddenly woke and knew his purpose. But if we look at the Pantheon as a whole, something seems off. I will now just give you the theory in full, and then afterward, we can dissect it and see what supporting evidence there is. And then, as always,
let's hear it.
I will leave it to you to decide if I've gone too far down the rabbit hole on this one. Amanthul, Golganath, and Norgannon, the three eldest members of the Pantheon, are not Titans. They were not born from world souls. In fact, they are the only true members of the Pantheon of Order. I told you this was a little crazy.
What?
Many long ages ago, but still long after the building of the Great Framework, something happened.
So where'd they come from? I guess he's going to explain where they came from, but would that make them evil, or maybe not true denizens of order, as Titans are often described? I don't know. I guess we'll see where this theory goes.
Ages ago, but still long after the building of the Great Framework, something happened. Something so terrifying that it caused a great imbalance among the forces of the universe. What this is, we cannot say, but it caused a great frenzy, and each force prepared for war.
Right.
Each would attempt to consolidate their power, all that remained of the first ones, and their mandates were their crumbling ruins. Now alone, they each scrambled to control the greatest weapons in the known universe. The world souls.
Yeah, world souls.
Shadow would send out seeds of the void to corrupt.
Right.
The light would send shooting stars streaking through the skies. But Order itself had found a way.
Those shooting stars are like the crystal that we see in Hallowfall. Okay, this lore makes sense.
In for themselves. Perhaps it is their ordered nature that allows them easier access to the physical world. Perhaps their command over the arcane. What we do know is, three brothers would find the slumbering world souls, infusing them with vast amounts of scintillating arcane energy, altering their form and temperament.
Okay.
One by one, their pantheon grew, the world's souls, each carefully controlled to believe the words of the High Father unquestioningly. But as their power grew, so did the other forces muster in opposition. It was death who first foiled them, spies who infiltrated one of their...
I guess his theory kind of follows with what came before, the chicken or the egg almost, where like basically a world soul needs to be influenced in order to become a titan. So how did Aman'Thul come about if nothing was there to influence him? Because he's the first. So this theory kind of says, well, then Aman'Thul can't be a titan because nothing was there to create him. So he has to be something else along with his two brothers. I guess I could see how that's possible.
Their order. They would use a similar tactic and then would turn him to chaos and shatter their unity for a time. It was for this very reason that Order has not claimed the greatest weapon of all, the last and the most powerful titan of them all, Azeroth. But unknowingly,
the most powerful world soul that could become the most powerful titan. What if it's Azeroth that created him? Oh, yeah. I don't know, but then she went back to sleep, you're saying? Because she's been slumbering all this time, we know that.
Children of this great world soul had set events in motion that may bring all of this to light. Now, if I had just heard this, I would have questions as any skeptical mind should. So I will attempt to answer some and give my reasons for reaching these conclusions. Firstly, while Aman'Thul is an obvious choice for initiating this plot if true, why Gol Ganeth and Norgannon specifically? This goes back to something from the World of Warcraft RPG. I fully realize this is not canon, but it does show that even during their inception, there was a clear distinction drawn between these three and the rest. That being the Aesir and the Vanir, inspired by Nordic myth.
Right.
The Aesir were metallic in nature, rigid and ordered, more powerful.
Yeah, this might not be canon, but it does show through in the colors of the Titans. He's talking about the Aesir and the Vanir, and you could see it in the Titans and the color of their skin. The silver, I believe, are like the Aesir, and the Vanir are the more golden Titans. And if you look at the Titans, you'll see that they're each a shade of gold or silver, which kind of refers back to this lore.
And intelligent than the Vanir. Even in artwork now and their depictions in game,
is one of
these three have far more relation to order than the others. Lightning, storms, memory, knowledge, and machines. These are the domains of the true sons of order. Why?
Yeah, see right here, you can see what their divisions are, right? The Aesir and the Vanir. And okay, I see where his theory is going now. He's saying the Aesir are not truly Titans. And then Sargeras kind of looks like a mesh between the two of them, right? His color is slightly different than the rest.
Why do the Titans resemble the Pantheon of Order if they are not? This is perhaps the easiest explanation. In the World of Warcraft universe, exposure to any sufficiently potent source of magic can completely alter the appearance of those affected.
Right.
When Jaina was exposed to the mana bomb, her tears became like falling stars. The dark trolls that were exposed to the energies of the Well of Eternity. They were irrevocably changed. They lost those feral and natural qualities to resemble the Titans themselves.
How did they find out about Azeroth's existence? I believe it was by mistake. You know, they just kind of going through the cosmos, kind of trying to clear out the void, and they came across Azeroth. Now, as I understand it, they didn't find Azeroth to be anything special when they first came across it. It was as time passed that they realized that this world soul is different.
Their forms were shaped by exposure. We see this again in the very same night elves they became. After the Sundering, when they began to practice druidism and harmony with nature once more, the druids were exposed to...
At the point that she was imprisoned, I think at first she was just slumbering, like all world souls are, and then they imprisoned her once they realized what she could become, that she was a different type of world soul.
Tense life energies of the Emerald Dream. Some grew feathers or antlers just like Malfurion. If these titans were imbued with sufficient arcane energy, it makes sense they too would be altered by it. More recently, we have confirmation that exposure can even alter temperament. The dragons were wild and chaotic, like the elements themselves, until exposed arcane energy that made them more docile. If true, then what does this mean for Sargeras? I have pondered this question
he's an
myself.
interesting one.
Did he know? After seeing the Void do the same thing to another Titan that was done to him, is that what really broke him? While I do like the idea of Sargeras the Liberator, how he could be trying to free Azeroth from her chains rather than destroy.
Yeah.
It just does not sit all that well with his character.
No, that's too redeeming. I don't think he's that redeeming. There's literal pictures of him just chopping planets in half. You know, like what's the motivation there? Is he still trying to save Azeroth by destroying entire civilizations and planets and cosmoses? Probably not. Sargeras' final, attempt to fuck over the Titans was probably freeing Azeroth. I don't think it was like out of the goodness of his heart. I think it was kind of like I'm going to screw this up for them kind of moment. And we'll see how that pans out.
Perhaps he did know, and the fell energy that freed him from his arcane bonds
spite.
made him just a little too irrational and crazy. That would certainly track. I do feel the more I look over Blizzard's recent writing, this does seem to align. All throughout Dragonflight we had evidence of Titan machinery, some designed for coercion, subversion, and others control. Without spoilers, this is not slowing down in the war within. The Titan Forged will go to extreme lengths to retain order and control, as we will all see soon enough.
Yep.
Originally,
we've even seen that, this is not a spoiler. I mean, this is very early on in the expansion. The Earthen are kind of awakening, right? They're starting to branch away from their original Titan-created purpose, just to kind of keep things in order. And the Titans actually send down awaken this giant Colossus to kind of kill the Earthen who are breaking away from their purpose. So keeping things in order, certainly the Titans are trying to do that. Metzen himself at BlizzCon talked about how all these Titan facilities, we're going to find out what their true purpose is in the War Within and the rest of the World Soul Saga. So there's going to be a lot of storytelling to be had here.
I was pondering why Eonar and Khazgorath in specific were so anomalous to a pantheon of order. While imposing some structure with life magic made sense, her relationship to Elune and her ideals do not fully sit right through the lens of order. In all honesty, there are some areas that need further exploration and more evidence, but if I were a betting man, I do believe this is the path the story is taking.
Yeah, I agree.
Freedom is what we are ultimately fighting for.
I agree in that they're going to, flesh out this lore. I don't know if this is the path necessarily where that Aman'Thul and his two brothers are not, in fact, Titans.
End of control. But tell me what you think. Is Aman'Thul an imposter? Or maybe you have a better idea. As always, I love to hear it. Thank you all for all the support and the amazing comments.
Interesting.
You have no idea how much they mean.
Will we get a third Illidan quote? We're definitely going to see Illidan again. Yeah, Illidan's coming back. He's been standing there talking to Sargeras. I'm sure a lot of things have been revealed to him in terms of the cosmos and lore and the Titan plan and everything else. How does he show back up? Do him and Sargeras team up? I don't know. But that lore is certainly going to come to fruition at some point during the World Soul Saga. Interesting video. I don't know if I subscribe to the theory. I still think Aman'Thul is ultimately a Titan, and his desire to order things and control things and use domination magic, which we know, he's learned how to do. So all of that still seems very Titan-esque. I do believe he's a Titan, just like the rest of his siblings. But we'll have to wait and see what their plan is. That's the interesting part here.